Hey guys, Will here, back again with another battle report. Tonight I'll be bringing my Salamanders again, once again doing the double demi company list, and Sam's bringing his Khorne Daemon with a new addition. He's brought a knight with him tonight. So we're doing 1850 points, Maelstrom of War. Let's take a look at the armies. So here's my Salamanders. As you can see, huge number of vehicles here. Starting off in the centre, I have my first demi company led by Vulcan Hastan, and then for that I have a bike squad, Devastator squad with a Razorback upgraded with las cannon and las cannons on all the Devastators, and then 3 5-man tactical squads. These all have drop pods, combi melters on the sergeants and melter guns. Second battle company has a chaplain leading it, as is necessary, and I've got one large tactical squad. I think there's 8 dudes in here, including a sergeant with a combi flamer and a flamer, and they've got a rhino. Second squad is just 5 dudes, flamer, combi flamer, rhino, and the third squad is flamer, combi flamer in a heavy bolter razorback. Then for my Devastators, this time I've got missile launchers on there, and once again a Razorback with a heavy bolter. And then the fast option for the second demi company is a pair of land speeders, multi-melters and heavy flamers. And all of that gets free transports and objectives secured and tactical doctrines. Supporting them, I have my auxiliary choice, which is a armoured task force. So I have 3 Predators. Each of these are single units and are packing autocannons, heavy bolters and storm bolters. They're backed up by a whirlwind, and then I have the compulsory tech marine, who will probably go in the rhino with Vulcan and the chaplain. Actually, I think I may have got too many models out there, because yeah, they should be able to fit in there, and as you can see there's 9 models there. I don't think there should be 9, I think it was 7. But anyway, that is my list. 1850 points of Salamanders.
Right, so here we are with my 1850 of Khorne Daemon with allied detachment. So we've got a Bloodhost detachment. So starting with a core formation, it's a slaughter cult. So Demon Prince, Mark of Khorne, obviously all the normal stuff you would give him. He's got armour and blazing runes. Then I've got 3 units of 8 bloodletters, 1 with just the instrument, 2 with instrument and banner, and the obligatory 5 possessed, which are the Gov Allback models from Forge World. So yeah, that makes up my core formation. Then for my first auxiliary, I've got the Charnel cohort. So that starts with a herald. He is a bog standard herald. Then needs 2 units of 8 bloodletters. They are just 8 bloodletters stock. 2 units of 5 fleshhounds, and a unit of 3 blood crushers. So that makes up the auxiliary. I've then got 2 individual soul grinders, and then obviously a renegade knight with the rapid fire battle cannon, heavy stubbers, chainsword. I chose that one mainly because I didn't want to pay an extra tenner to put a Gatling cannon on him instead, when I thought the rapid fire battle cannon should just be okay. So yeah, that is my 1850. On to deployment.
So we're all deployed now. The mission we rolled up was Deadlock, so that's going to be starting with a high number of objectives and gradually decreasing as the game goes on, which I think may favour the Space Marines slightly, because the Khorne Daemon have a lot of units in reserves, whereas a good chunk of my force is on from turn 1. So Sam won the roll off to go first, and as you can see, he's clustered his armoured units, the Knight and the 2 Soul Grinders in the centre, with the possessed covering their rear, I think because he doesn't want my drop pod melter guns in the backside of his knight on turn 1. He's then flanked them with fleshhounds over here, which have scouted forward to the objective, and then blood crushers to the back, but looking to get around the flank here. I had a lot of trouble finding good cover and line of sight for my armour with the battlefield set out as it was, but essentially I've put both Devastator squads in ruins to give them good line of sight and protection. Predators and whirlwinds quite far back to you know, just sort of sit back and shoot, while the Razorbacks are positioned and Rhinos positioned to move forward. Vulcan squad's in the centre there, and I've just realised I haven't actually popped my Tech Marine down I'm going to try something different today. Rather than leaving him in the Rhino with Vulcan, I'm actually going to put him next to one of the Predators. So he's just going to go there. That will allow him to potentially repair that Predator, keep it up for a little bit longer, and he gets boosts to repair for that for the formation. Land speeders I've put to the back, not because I want to keep them back, but simply because they, you know, have got good speed and I can use them to counter-attack. And the bikes are heading up here, looking to get towards that objective if I can deal with those Fleshhounds. It should be quite an interesting game because Sam's Khorne Daemonkin have always proved to be very strong, and I think replacing the Bloodthirster with a Knight makes them even stronger. But this new Salamanders list is better than what I have been running, although it's still in the developmental stage. It's certainly getting me some good results. So let's roll for Seize the Initiative and then see how this game goes. It's a 1, initiative not stolen. Here we go with Demon turn 1. So, having got the first turn, the Khorne Daemonkin did exactly what you'd expect a Chaos Khorne army to do. Everything ran forward, with the exception of the heavy weapons in the middle that elected to just move and shoot. Thankfully, these guys couldn't charge, having scouted, so my bikes were safe for now. And the Knight was the main shooting, targeted the Razorback. Scatter also caught the Predator, but luckily the Predator's high front armour saved it. The Razorback took 2 hull points and lost its main weapon, so yeah, but thankfully not first blood, so that's quite handy. The heavy stubbers went for the Devastators, did 3 wounds, but power armour saved the day there. And both of the Soul Grinders fired at the same Razorback, hoping to finish it off, but despite 6 strength 7 shots, failed to do a single bit of damage to it. So yeah, kind of unlucky there, as were his objectives. He had plenty that involved getting into close combat, as well as securing Objective 2 and killing the Warlord, but unfortunately none of them happened for him this turn. So a slow start, but there's a lot of Bloodletters in reserve, so I'm not counting my chickens too soon. But here we go with Space Marine turn 1. So whereas the Demon turn started with a whole load of objectives that involved killing stuff, mine were all secure Objective X, which this force particularly likes. So started by bringing both my drop pods down, going for Objective 3 behind that building, but unfortunately both scattered, but did still get me line of sight and melter range on both Soul Grinders. Unfortunately, despite the rerolls and the melters, was only able to do a single hull point to this one that was saved, and this one over there I did 2 hull points and immobilised it, but not enough unfortunately. Tried to finish that one off with the las cannon Devastators, but only stripped another hull point off it and left it snap firing. So I needed to score some objectives some other ways. So this Razorback went flat out towards Objective 4, ignoring the ever-present danger of the Fleshhounds, just needed the objective. Middle Devastator squad, and this Predator went for the, what are they in there? They were Blood Crushers, and killed them. I think there was also some support fire from one of the Rhinos as well. But anyway, wiped them out. The Land Speeders then took the opportunity to flat out towards Objective 5 there to score me that, because I had 2 copies of Secure 5. And then the remainder of the army, so the Predators, Whirlwind, etc., fired at the Fleshhounds. Bikes with their twin link bolters all fired at the Fleshhounds, killed 2 and put 2 further wounds on, which were distributed unevenly because of where the hits were coming from. So not a terrible start, certainly not as many casualties as I'd hoped for, and I was kind of expecting those vehicles to die with melters coming down, but Soul Grinders are really resilient. But points wise, I scored Objective 4 with the Razorback, Objective 2 with the Devastator squad, Objective 6 with the other Devastator squad, and 2 copies of Objective 5 with the Land Speeders. I'm then going to discard Secure Objective 3, because it's going to be tricky to get right in the back line there. So yeah, 5 points and first blood for the Blood Crushers, so yeah, decent turn for the Salamanders. Here we go with Chaos turn 2. Right, so in turn 2, the forces of Khorne were really on a rampage. Managed to get all his reserves in thanks to the use of rerolls and banners and instruments. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of Bloodletters come down right in my deployment zone. and a Demon Prince, and yeah, that's a serious threat. There's also a Herald of Khorne in that unit there. Then they proceeded to clean house. So the one mobile Soul Grinder and the Flesh Hounds went after this tactical squad. Got a little bit unlucky, only managed to kill 3 of them with combined shooting and assault. I killed a Flesh Hound in response, so combat was a slight loss to the Space Marines, but we held our ground. Over here, the Possessed went after this tactical squad, lost one on the way into a melter hit, but proceeded to almost wipe them out, but we held following an attempt at running away. And over here the Flesh Hounds got into the land speed as much as I expected. It was a sacrifice I had to make to score me 2 copies of Objective 5 and give me a nice clear lead, but yeah, my speeders are down. Other than that, fire from the Knight put 2 hull points on that Rhino and immobilised it. Stubber fire killed one of these guys and one of these guys, and then I lost a further tactical marine in the assault. But the stomp, he was very clever actually how he used it. He directed it over towards the Rhino and proceeded to roll a 6 and wreck the Rhino, also killing 2 tactical marines in the process. Thankfully Vulcan squad passed their pinning check automatically because of the chaplain, but yeah, that was a bit of a blow to my lines. So there's still plenty of green on the board, but there is a lot of red coming along here. Points wise, he scored Unfettered Fury for 1, kill something in the assault, Blood and Guts for 1, and they'll assassinate because he killed the sergeant from that squad. So not a bad little turn for the forces of Khorne. He now has 3 points to my 5 as we head into the second Space Marine turn, and I have a drop pod to roll for reserves. It's a 2, it doesn't come in. Okay then, here we go with Space Marine turn 2. So my reserves coming on wasn't a big loss, because they were another squad of melter gun guys, and wanted to bring them on behind a vehicle and blow it up, but all the vehicles were locked in combat at this point, so I just, you know, be happy with that. Objectives wise, needed to secure 2 and 4, which I was already sitting on, get overwhelming firepower behind enemy lines, and demolition. Well, demolition's immediately not happening, that's going to get discarded, and then it was really a case of just stay in position, move to get line of sight, and just try and cut down this mass of demons. Both these Razorbacks moved forward to tank shock various squads of Bloodletters into tighter formation for me to then fire my Whirlwind and my Flamer weapons at. And as you can see, a lot of these squads have taken big casualties. This squad's wiped out, this squad's below half strength, this one's down to 3, this one's down to 2. Also killed off a Flesh Hound with the bikes, and the Predators did pretty well. Unfortunately, the Devastators with the las cannons only put a single wound on the Demon Prince, thanks to his Invan save and Feel No Pain that he had army-wide from one of the demonic powers he'd used. In the assault phase, the Knight finished off 2 more of the Devastators, and the remaining one fled. And this Soul Grinder finished off the tactical squad here, but that tactical guy there actually passed all his armour saves, and so the Possessed didn't kill him, so he's holding them up. Score wise, Objective 4 was stored by this Razorback and 2 by the Devastators. Overwhelming firepower I got for just the single wipeout of that squad there. And finally, behind enemy lines, that drop pod, that guy from the tactical squad, and the bikes are all there, so that becomes a D3, which is a 6. So that's 3 more points. That's 3, 4, 5, 6 points scored that turn. In addition to the 6 I already had, gives me 12 points. So it may be pretty tight on the board, but points-wise, the Salamanders are doing rather well. Here we go with Chaos turn 3, and no reserves to roll for. So, in the third Chaos turn, he continued to close the loop on me here. The Flesh Hounds and the Bloodletters both charged at the Devastators, easily wiped them out, particularly as the Knight had killed 2 of them with shooting. The Knight's main battle cannon shot went over for the bikes, who jinked, which meant I only actually lost 2. It could have been a lot worse. And the Knight fired its other stubber into Vulcan's squad for no damage. Other than that, the shooty things over there, the Soul Grinders, fired at this Razorback and finished that off. So that was a kill from shooting, which gave him a point. The other one fired at that Razorback and did 2 hull points. Then the Bloodletters here charged the Predator, wrecked that. Over there, the Possessed finally finished off their combat, but alas, too late to have stopped that guy scoring the objective point last turn. And down here, the Demon Prince charged into the Tech Marine, which was a complete mismatch. I think the Tech Marine died 3 times over. And then finally the Knight charged into Vulcan's unit with the help of the Bloodletters. Vulcan managed to slay 2 of the Bloodletters, and I think another one fell to the tactical squad. They then only did a single wound to Vulcan, and the Knight only managed to kill 2 Marines. And its Stomp, despite getting 10 Strength 6 hits, didn't do any damage. He was a little bit unlucky. Both sides hold, but thanks to Fearless on both sides, which is actually a pain. I would have quite liked to have this Knight unengaged so I can drop pod it this turn with melters, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to come up with a more inventive way to kill the Knight. But yeah, not too bad a turn for Sam. He's certainly tightening the noose, although he is running out of Bloodletters down here. But we got a Demon Prince and a Knight to deal with. Anyway, that rounds the turn off. Sam scored 4 points that turn. 1 for scoring an objective that was previously held by murdering the unit that was on it. It was a Khorne special one. 1 for killing a unit, and then what was the third one? Securing objective marker 3, which is right at the back there, which he grabbed with the Fleshhounds. So that brings him up to 4 points, which gives us 7 points to the Demons and 12 to the Salamanders as we head into the Space Marines' third turn. Got a drop pod to roll for. Nope, it's a 1, still no drop pod this turn. So turn 3, got another Duff objective, Harness the Warp, so that's getting discarded. And then Skew objective 1 and 6, and also Assassinate. 1 was never going to happen with the Possessed sitting on there, so just left that alone completely. My 1 Devastator rallied to secure me objective 6. And then it was once again about trying to clean house in my backfield. So many demons running rampant through here. So Assassinate, obviously the Herald was the best target for that, so the Whirlwind popped his pie plate down on him and killed 1 from the squad. And then this Predator finished the rest of them off. This tactical squad tried to, in the immobilised Rhino, that actually gets a chance to repair. Let's see if my Rhino repairs. No. That would have been a miracle, wouldn't it? A Rhino repairing live on camera. The tactical squad fired at the demons, only killed 1. Bikes were snap firing, didn't really add much to that. Other than that, this Predator that hadn't yet fired managed to kill 1 of the Hounds, and the Razorback killed another demon from there. So he is running out of Bloodletters. In fact, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bloodletters left on the table now from that 40 that came down 2 turns ago. But other than that, I didn't do a lot of shooting, but it was enough to, you know, make things less scary, score me Assassinate. In combat, the Knight and the Demons ran through the rest of the squad. Vulcan's left alive. He's only taken 1 wound, but I think the Knight's looking to insta-jib him next turn. Killed 3 of the Demons and managed to hold, so not a terrible situation. Points-wise, I scored Secure Objective 1. No, I didn't. I scored Secure Objective 6 and Assassinate, and I also got Slay the Warlord for the Herald. That brings me up to 15 points, so it's still looking pretty good for the Salamanders, but could really do without that Demon Prince and that Knight running through my backlines. Anyway, as we head into what will be the 4th Demon turn, Sam's got some ground to make up. So, Sam had saved up enough Blood Tithe points not only to give him Furious Charge and Feel No Pain, but also to summon a new unit of Blood Crushers. So, yeah, the demonic threat, just when I thought it was ebbing, is starting to get a bit stronger again. So, what did we have? Well, these units here, the big Stompy and the little Gribblies, charged forward, didn't do anything significant. Oh, actually, no, this guy shot for the Razorback and put a hull point on it, and means it's only snap firing next turn. The Possessed finished off that drop pod, saving him from losing Linebreaker to me. And over here, the Fleshhound and these 2 units of Bloodletters charged the Whirlwind, wrecked that, and the Demon Prince charged the second Predator and wiped that out. Finally in combat, the Knight finally managed to kill Vulcan, freeing itself up to get pimped by a drop pod load of melter guns next turn. Or that's the plan anyway. So not a bad turn. He actually ended up scoring 3d3 points there, as he had Kingslayer, Khorne Cares Not From Whence the Blood Flows, and No Prisoners, all for d3. So you want to roll me 3d3, Sam? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, which brings you up to 12. 13 for Slay the Warlord, which means you're only 2 points behind me now, as we head into the 4th Space Marine turn, but we got a drop pod coming. So with the demons closing in on my score and closing in on my gun line, I needed to get my good points this turn. 1 and 5 for objective secures and supremacy. So the big issue was the Soul Grinder sitting on objective 1, but I had my drop pod coming in this turn, and that came down and immediately scores it thanks to OBSEC. Swung the bikes over to 5 and shot for the Soul Grinder, hoping the grav weapons will take the last hull point. Alas, that didn't work, but then the Melter Gun squad managed to wipe it out. Unfortunately, this one is still up. My hope was to wipe that out with the bikes and then take this one with the Melter Guns, but didn't quite go to plan. Other than that, Sam had a very lucky turn in general with his armour saves, although I did manage to kill 2 demons over here, 2 there, and that was about it. But the key thing is I secured 5, I secured 1, I'm also holding objective 6. That means I've got 3 objectives to the 1 he holds, which gives me supremacy for d3. And it's a 2, so just 1 point, but that's 3 points, so not complaining there. That gives me 18 if I'm calculating it right, although we will count them up at the end to be sure, as we head into the 5th and potentially final Khorne Daemon turn. So turn 5, Sam needed to really get some points to bring him back into the game here, and he started by drawing Scour the Skies. Oh well, and then he thought he'd drawn Domination, but and had started to come up with a plan of how to get all 6 points and get a d6 and get loads of points and win. And then I pointed out that he'd misread the card and it actually said Demolition. So unfortunately for Sam, sad face, he couldn't score that either. But what he did proceed to do is generally please the Blood God with much slaughter and destruction. Summoned a unit of Fleshhounds in the middle here, and then went on a rampage. These guys charged that Razorback, wiped it out. The Knight fired originally at the Razorback, but ended up actually scattering off and blowing up the Rhino. Squad in there passed their pinning check. Blood Crushers charged the bikes, killed them. Soul Grinder charged the tactical squad, killed them. Possessed charged the drop pod, blew that up. And the Fleshhounds charged the Razorback down here, killed that. Guys actually ended up pinned, and the Knight charged the Devastator. So an absolutely brutal turn here. He racked up 6 points on his Blood Tithe, but unfortunately no actual game points. Although he is going to get line break with that Demon Prince, who attempted to charge the Predator, but was unfortunately not able to make it. So yeah, brutal turn there. I'm really running out of models, but hey, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. So here we go with the 5th Salamander turn. So, tough final turn for the Space Marines, or potentially final turn. Big Game Hunter and Hungry for Glory. Challenges really weren't on, so I was hoping I might have killed the Demon Prince for Big Game Hunter, because didn't really have anything in position to threaten the Knight, but only did 1 wound to him. So he's down to just 2 wounds, but I think he'll hit my Predator before my Predator finishes him off. Other than that, the 1 mobile tactical squad started to run over here, A, to stay safe, and B, to try and score me Linebreaker. And the pinned tactical squad managed to put a wound on the Fleshhounds, and the drop pod killed a Possessed. So, I think if the game ends now, the Salamanders win quite considerably. But if we carry on for another turn, he might be able to really seriously wipe me out. So Sam, roll that dice. It's a 6. Game carries on. Here we go with turn 6. So, a very dark day for the Salamanders here. End of the 6th Chaos turn, and it is a massacre. Sam knew he was never going to catch up on points, so he just went all out to wipe me out. The Possessed there wiped out the drop pod, the Knight killed the tactical squad, the Demon Prince killed the Predator, and the Blood Crushers killed that other tactical squad, meaning that everything is dead. So, well played, Sam. You're never going to beat me on points, so you did me with a Massacre. Nice one. Now that was a comeback. Well done to Sam. You went from 12 points to 3 down to winning the game by Massacre. Nice
Blood
one.
for Blood God.
Indeed. Blood for the Blood.
It's been so long since I played that army.
Yeah, but they work.
It took me a while to get back into it, but yeah, it does work.
Yeah, I thought I was doing pretty well at surviving just through sheer number of targets. You know, yeah, you'll assault one unit and wipe it out, but then there's 10 others. But no, you just got too many units in there. And I thought I'd taken a chunk enough out of your bloodletters to reduce their effectiveness, but
no, we were both having like reasonable good dice today.
Yeah.
So things were doing what they should do.
And bloodletters were being surprisingly tough to kill, and apparently
well,
2 bloodletters can kill a razorback.
Well, yeah, just fine. Yeah, no
it happens.
Strength 5, to be honest, with when you buff their attacks and whatnot. I say that's what makes KDK strong, is being able to use the blood tithes to buff your army.
Yeah, the blood tithe is really underestimated. I don't hear people moaning on the internet about KDK being powerful, but trust me, they're powerful.
Yeah, used right. There's a lot in there that's like just weak.
But
so...
you pick the right units, use them in the right way, and I don't think I've ever beaten your Khorne Daemon kin, not with that style of list.
I can't remember last time they actually lost. I mean, last time I played them was last year in the Armoured Commander, which is just about to happen again.
But they smashed through Battle of 8 Armies. They rolled over my tournament Eldar lists. They are strong.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
As for the Marines, I think I'm still getting the hang of how to use the Double Demi Company.
You don't push out enough. The board's nicely spread and you kind of sit back or get pinned back.
Yeah, well, I don't really want to drive straight towards a Khorne Daemon army for some reason. I need more Razorbacks.
I definitely think swapping the squads in pods for squads in Razors.
Definitely, it's the way I want to go. I just need more transports, and then I can free up the drop pods to actually have dreadnoughts in them, potentially, if I got the points. And I want some Centurions. I need Centurions.
Yeah.
But I have them, I just need to get my butt into gear and
paint
paint
you've had them since like Christmas.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been painting Dark Eldar for the Tale of 4 Gamers, and I've been painting Scouts to get me a Scout auxiliary choice, which actually looks like a potential thing I might be running soon. But,
yeah, I mean, if you have the Scout auxiliary, that stops me sort of rushing you so much. You can get your transports up there.
I wouldn't have the Predators, but the Predators usually don't do a lot. They were alright today, though. The Predators did the job for once. But they should have done 300 points of tanks there, plus the Whirlwind. Scouts are a much cheaper option, even with the camo cloaks and sniper rifles that I'm going to be putting on them.
So, my first time with an Imperial Knight, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Your first time on the channel with the Imperial Knight. You did have one in that game that got interrupted the other week.
Yes.
But yeah, enough about that. You don't want to know about the interruption there.
He gives my army what I need, basically, to pop open transports at range. You know, he gives me that like viability to do some range damage.
Definitely, he's solid, and you played him well, knowing that I had my drop pods coming down. You put the possessed right behind the knight, so I couldn't get in his rear arc, no matter how good my drop pod was. So that made a difference. But yeah, I think Khorne Daemon kin's still really solid.
Yeah, they are quite strong if they're played right. A lot of people would look at it and you can make a lot of different types of lists out. The one I run just works because you know, it works for me, but I've never really seen it elsewhere. No,
but anyway, a good game and good fun, despite the fact I got rolled over in the end. A really fun game.
So I didn't have a lot left, like my Knight, my Demon Prince, some Blood Crushers that I summoned.
2 units of Flesh Hounds, another unit of Bloodletters, some summoned Blood Crushers.
I didn't have any Bloodletters left, did I? I had 2 units of Flesh Hounds left.
You had 1 Bloodletter left, actually. He just charged that tactical squad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I say, I mean, I summoned a unit of Flesh Hounds and a unit of Blood Crushers. It's nowhere near as much free stuff as your stuff. You know,
that's true. That's true.
An extra 300, 400 points of stuff.
Hey, but that's where Marines get their strength from. You get your strength from the Blood Tithe and the summoning. I get it from the formation bonuses and getting free stuff. Necrons get it from just stuff just will not die. Eldar get it because the rules are broken. Tau get it from cheese. Anyway, I think he's off to order a large block of cheddar, and we will see you for the next battle report. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.